Did you know that depression and FOMO, that fear of missing out, are more connected than it seems?
你好, how are you?
When you isolate yourself, your brain doesn't stop comparing itself to what it sees on the screen. You see other people's lives, their achievements, their trips, and that distance between what you live and what you see on social media creates a void that often ends in anxiety, sadness, and even depression. Today I want to talk to you a bit about that, while I tell you how my Saturday at the ping pong tournament ended. And stay until the end, because the close of this video has to do precisely with how I learned to handle that comparison. Hi, I'm Chilli, a rookie dad, freelance designer, which means I don't have a steady job, and this is my Saturday, my weekend. That means it's my day off from being a babysitter, something I've been doing for over 3 years. Since I lost my job when my daughter was only 6 months old. Since then, I haven't been able to find any work, which is why I have to be with my daughter full time, especially now that she's on summer break for 2 months. With her in the middle of her summer break, the role of full-time caregiver completely consumes you. That's why this space playing ping pong with friends from the club, which I belonged to for 6 years, isn't a luxury. It's a mental health necessity. The club has been around for more than 7 years. I've been in this club on and off, because I was also out of the country for a while, and because the pandemic isolated me for more than a year. In total, it's been about 6 years since I started, and the last 4 playing consistently. Ping pong, or table tennis, is not taken lightly in China. And here, right next to our tables, there's a company renting the space for its corporate tournament, complete with official referees wearing ties. And then, for about 2 hours, I played a couple of matches and won a few. The usual for an internal tournament, where the idea isn't so much winning, but staying active and seeing people every once in a while. Something that always surprises me about this club is the mix of people. There are Chinese people, of course, but also several foreigners who have been playing here for years. Some blondes from Nordic countries, Europeans, and Latinos like me. Ping pong ends up being a common language when you don't share the same spoken language. As you may know, I'm still looking for a job. It's been over 3.5 years since I lost my job when my daughter was 6 months old. And staying active is something I keep heavily in mind. Moving around, not staying still, is very important for mental health. Staying in motion here is key. I try to do 10,000 steps a day, because physical activity is the real handbrake to prevent falling into episodes of anxiety when professional projects stall. Fun fact, the World Health Organization estimates that regular exercise can reduce the risk of depressive symptoms by up to 30%. And in extreme summers like this one in Shanghai, forced sedentary behavior is one of the factors that hardest hits the mental health of those who work from home, or those who, like me, care for children full-time. We went from singles matches to playing doubles to wrap up the day. That's another thing I've noticed, especially in these last 2 years that I've been making videos. In these last 2 months, I started making this vlog. But before that, I already had a channel talking about design and creativity. I had already started monetizing with that one. But especially with this vlog channel I started making, I began comparing myself to other YouTubers, and that depressed me a lot, because I compared views and wasn't getting the results I wanted. Well, and here we finished the tournament. I pick up my things, and right as I step out the exit door, Shanghai's weather does its thing. It's raining! I put on my jacket because at this time of year the humidity and rain don't let up. Walking toward the station, beneath the city's giant elevated bridges and viaducts puts things in perspective. With tons of gray concrete crossing over your head and raindrops falling onto the wet asphalt. Shanghai's architecture reminds you exactly how small you are and forces you to slow down. And it can rain for several days straight without stopping. This kind of sudden rain in Shanghai during these months is called plum rain season, or Meiyu in Chinese, when humid tropical air collides with colder air masses. With this rain, I couldn't ride my bike back like I had arrived, so I decided to take the subway. I had to walk about 15 minutes to reach the nearest station. Drenched, I entered the station and passed security, as is always done in the subway in China, without exception. The Shanghai Metro is the longest subway system in the world by route length, with over 800 kilometers of track, surpassing even Beijing and New York. I take line 4, the loop line that circles the city center. I step into the train car, and the silence is absolute, broken only by the roar of the rails. And there's the typical scene of this metropolis. People holding two phones at the same time. One for a hyper-connected work life that demands 24/7 availability, and another for personal entertainment. It's the physical manifestation of a society operating at a fierce pace. These past few days, I was listening to a podcast featuring a writer. He said he wrote a book and nobody wanted to publish it. He spent over 10 years trying to get a publisher to accept it. In the end, he found one. When it was published, nothing happened. He didn't become famous or anything like that, but he fulfilled his goal. I see a lot of similarities with these videos, with every video I make. It's better to expect nothing. Simply be original and be authentic. Having no expectations is the best, so you don't get depressed. And I think when you don't have expectations about anything, things turn out better. The train was full, as always at this time. Most people with their phone in hand. Once again, that same feeling of being surrounded by people, but without exchanging a single word with anyone. And do you feel that cell phones replace those small conversations people used to have while waiting for transit? And lately, when I'm alone, I start thinking about how to move these videos forward. Sometimes I overthink it, especially when I want to build a story around the videos I make. But many times I ended up comparing myself to other videos that came out with other YouTubers. I would see the views they had, thousands, some millions in such a short time. And that depressed me. And I wondered why my videos didn't have that same number of views. But in the end, after more than 20 videos I made, I see that this is more of an art of storytelling. And also an art of enjoying the process, even if you don't see immediate results. That's something I've learned in these 20 plus videos. You have to be authentic. In the end, you shouldn't compare yourself, because there are many factors that influence each person's art. Everyone's style is different. And well, that's how this Saturday ended. Some time with my clubmates. Past matches, sports, rain, and a subway ride back home thinking about everything I just told you. I still don't have a steady job. I keep making these videos without many expectations. And I keep learning, little by little, that happiness isn't in comparing yourself, but in enjoying the process. Even if it sometimes rains right when you least expect it. And that's all for this video. If you liked it, or if you want to follow these adventures of a Chino Rolo, subscribe, like, and share this video. And if you want to see the first part of this day, click on this video. See you next time. Bye bye!